leadership at the Bahamas Development Bank, and with that new leadership, there's a new direction. Here with me to discuss the bank's future and more is its chairman, Senator Quintin Lightbourne.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back. People may have heard about the Bahamas Development Bank, but tell us a little bit about its history. What is it? What is its purpose?
Okay, so the Bahamas Development Bank was founded in 1974 by an act of parliament. Ideally, what its purpose was to definitely develop the country in various sectors such as tourism, industry, and fisheries. And so over time, it has been that help Bahamians put forward their businesses to move forward. It's a funding mechanism, it's a funding tool, and it's something that is beneficial for all Bahamians. Most developing countries have development banks that's showing definitely growth and progress. The role of the Bahamas, what we plan to do is try to develop the blue, green, and orange economy is moving forward because the economy and the country itself has to evolve.
Now, you talk about economic diversification, and when you mention those colored economies,
yes,
that's what that is. What kind of structure are we bringing to help them frame that for investors?
Okay, so one of the key things that we're going to do at the Bahamas Development Bank, we have a very interactive process where persons will be able to log in on our website and make submissions in to try and improve and get loans. That's definitely one of the things that we try to do. Also, we did a grant program where we did for persons in the creative space, and so we also did Family Island grants moving forward. So we just want to spur development, to spur, pretty much the investment culture in our country, and I think that's very important for the development of our nation.
Now, the Bahamas Development Bank has had its challenges over the years. What are those challenges, and how are you going to deal with them before you take on enhanced investment, if you will?
Definitely. But one of the key things is assessing and realizing what our deficiencies are, being able to address the delinquency model and see how we can speak and talk to persons with outstanding loans. And I think that's very important because the public and the national funds is very important. And myself, as well as the board, we take that as a very serious mandate. And so those are the things that we're assessing. We have a dynamic new managing director and deputy managing director that understands the importance of being able to push and move the bank forward from the past experiences, and also, I would say, some past mistakes, and how we can evolve and move forward and move past those hurdles in the past that we've experienced.
Now, we're coming out of 2 really rough years. How big is the delinquency problem?
Well, the delinquency problem is very big, but it's also understandable. We understand that there was COVID-19 in the northern Bahamas, there was Dorian. So in terms of the bank, we understand the challenges, and so we're going to be able to restructure and be able to facilitate and help persons that have come upon hard times, because it's a reality. And when the development bank is someplace where we are understanding and realizing the concerns and realizing pretty much the life challenges that are associated with a business, and seeing the economic downturn. There's a heart.
Hard times is one thing, but
yes,
how many of those businesses may have gone under completely?
Yeah, and so the numbers are into the total businesses that have gone under. Those are different instances we have to look at in a more detailed basis, but those are definitely the challenges are out there. But in the spite of those, economic downturns and some businesses going under, there's such great opportunity for other businesses. It shows the creativity of our country. It shows the creativity of Bahamians in terms of how we've been able to diversify and make ways and try to be successful in other avenues of business. And I think that's very important. And that's the importance of a Bahamas Development Bank, to being able to be in place in a position to help persons with new, innovative, creative ideas.
Now, for those failed businesses, are you looking perhaps to refinance them or give them new support, give them a second chance, if you will?
Yeah, definitely. Once we come in, and once they come in, be able to sit down with our financial professionals, we'll be able to assess and see where they are. Some businesses may not even want to start again, depending on how devastated their business was or their financial outlook at the time. And so there are many variables, to say. So it's not a really clear-cut yes or no answer. It's definitely by a case-by-case basis, and we'll be able to assess and make a determination from there.
Now, the Prime Minister has indicated in the budget, which is now in effect,
yes,
that $50 million going towards small businesses. Now, does all of that won't necessarily come to the Bahamas Development Bank?
No.
But how do you see yourself utilizing that in an innovative way?
Well, definitely. It's a bold step, and it shows the government's support, and pretty much its investment inside the Bahamian economy and investment in businesses. It's going to be shared among some SBD, Bahamas Development Bank, Bahamas Venture Capital Fund, BAIC as well. So it's going to be shared across a plethora of government entities to be able to spur economic growth. I think it's very good, especially for young millennials, also all Bahamians, because it gives you an opportunity to show that, hey, that we're investing. Like, one of the key things is that the government is going to make this investment in human capital, because it's very important. And it's important that we see the success. It's not a motto, or you don't want the narrative to be that you're just dispersing money, but you want to disperse this money in hands and persons that are competent, that are ensure that they're going to have great businesses, because it's an investment for the country, you know, and so that's definitely a mandate, and I think we're very strong as a government that that's what we want to do, and we're serious about it.
Great. Now, you mentioned SBDC, BAIC, the Venture Capital Fund. What is BDB's relationship with them, if there is?
Yes, there is a relationship. I think it's very important that all these entities should be working in cohesion, and we have been very successful. Over the past weekend, there was a Bahamas Development Bank Finance Expo that was done, where we encouraged and invited all of those entities there. They were all in attendance. It was very much a success. We had no free vendor booths. Our panel discussions were good. We had a pitch competition. So it was well received by, you know, the Bahamian public. The Deputy Prime Minister was there. He gave his address. He also expressed his delight in seeing so many persons, so many entrepreneurs in one space. And I think that's very important for the country.
Any real innovative proposals you saw there that really just made you say, we need to see how we're going to help support this one right away?
Definitely. There were quite a few that were there. Definitely, I think they're going to make the move and step towards seriously approaching the Bahamas Development Bank to see how they can possibly develop a scheme in terms of loan or equity financing. And I think that's very important. And I think that's the first of its kind, the Expo. And so it's something that the Bahamas Development Bank would like to do on an annual basis to spur these kind of investment, to spur these kind of entrepreneur juices and creativity, you know, and I think that's very important. So it's been a great success, and we're looking forward to next year already.
Now, getting back to the orange economy, filmmaking is a big deal now, no matter where you are. People want to hear more global stories. Right? And then you look at countries like Nigeria that has had amazing success in film. But you've got a lot of Bahamians who are doing their own thing too, because you can make a movie with a phone now.
Definitely.
Is the film industry one of those areas that you're looking to boost?
Yes,
definitely. Or to jumpstart, let's say.
Yes, the film industry, I think, is definitely a lucrative industry, and I think the Bahamas is filled with so many creatives. And that's one of the first initiatives that our board that we decided to do at the Bahamas Development Bank was to do an Orange Economy Grant, where we awarded 26 persons with Magwood Pros, wherein they could develop and edit movies, songs, producing, everything. And we've already seen the development already of it from so many of the persons that have received the grants. And I think that's very important. I think definitely Bahamas Development Bank wants to be the vehicle to tap into these so-called untapped industries in the Bahamas. You know, for many years, you know, myself as a young Bahamian, we've seen the attempts with the industrial, the attempts with the fisheries, but, you know, focus has not been placed specifically or not enough in terms with the orange economy. And that's something that this government and the Bahamas Development Bank wants to do, to show that, hey, we're serious about the creative space, and we have a track record of Bahamians who have excelled in these industries, and so we want to be the vehicle to propel it and move it forward.
How do you get a grant? How do you go about that? What's the process?
Well, definitely. So we advertise it when we had our grant programs. It's applied online. You do everything online. You submit a video as well, pretty much like a pitch, saying your ideas and your creative. And then it goes into a database or a grading system. And then the grading system disseminates who are the top persons based on the criteria. And then those award winners are called and presented with their awards.
And now if you're coming for a loan,
yes.
I've got this great idea. I need funding. What do I do? Okay,
so you can visit the Bahamas Development Bank's website. There's a tab on how to apply. You go on, you submit your business plan, you submit your financials, your projections, all of those stuff, and then it goes directly into a queue. And then our credit team, our credit officers are very efficient. They would find it, you know, whenever, and then they give you a call, let you know that, okay, we see your submittal, and they'll guide you step by step on what is needed, what's required. And I think it's been very effective and efficient. There has been great success in terms of turnaround time And I think that's very important because, you know, you want to be serious because it's a serious matter. If Bahamians or persons want to invest in a business, this is something that you know that you want to be quick and efficient.
Now, talking about funding, I know obviously some is coming from government, but I believe the Prime Minister pointed out that you're also getting or approaching the Caribbean Development Bank for additional funding.
Yes.
How's that going?
Definitely. So our team already, our young managing director, Mr. Nicholas Higgs, and our deputy managing director, Mr. Dave Monroe, they have already started moving forward with talks and negotiations with the Caribbean Development Bank to be able to establish a loan or establish financing for about $50 million directed specifically towards the Bahamian economy across various sectors, not specifically for orange economies, but definitely for the blue and green. And I think that's very important. The mandate from the Caribbean Development Bank is also that we have to be innovative in our financing and innovative in terms of our business ideas. And I think that's very important. But one of the key things that we've also hounded is the word innovation. And that's very important. We want to be able to say that, okay, that we are doing and we are funding technological projects. We are funding projects that are out of the box. And I think that's the whole essence of a development bank, taking on that risk that is so innovative and out there that a commercial bank or other financial institution may not take that risk. But the Bahamas Development Bank sees the niche that this person is looking at and be willing and able to take that risk.
Okay, you take the risk, but what steps are you putting in place to ensure that your risk is
so definitely
safeguarded, if you will?
Yeah, great question. Because the thing is, it's still a bank. And so in terms, we have collateral that we have to put at, you know, persons have to put up in terms of capital and cash capital injection. So there are variables and backstops in place. You know, we're still a financial institution. I think that's very important. We're not an institution that just gives out money. And so there's checks and balances, and we want to ensure that those stuff are in place. And so in terms of the injection and the collateral, those are some of the backstops that we have. There's also an equity stake, whereas, you know, the Bahamas Development Bank in its act, they can acquire equity ownership in a company. And so in terms of that is a very different financial aspect that a lot of persons haven't, you know, taken advantage of, but that's an aspect where we can move forward.
Now, I note that your new managing director is Nicholas Higgs,
Yes.
who was at the Small Business Development Center. And their program has a sort of, 3 to 5 year sort of monitoring thing to ensure greater success. You're going to capitalize, you think, on that kind of model?
Definitely. We're definitely going to capitalize on that kind of model because it's very important. It's shown to be very efficient and effective. You know, the age-old, you know, saying is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so that's something that we're going to do. We're going to also follow up, even with our grants. We plan to do a follow-up. This is not something that we just forget about it. We have to highlight the success stories in each of these initiatives. The Bahamas Development Bank, from inception, has many success stories. A lot of persons may not know about them, but a lot of the primary funding, a lot of mailboats in the country have been through the Bahamas Development Bank. We see the necessity of mailboats in our country, especially for far-flung islands and the family islands. And so those are things that, you know, that we at the Bahamas Development Bank that we want to do. We want to let persons know that we are here. We are been a successful bank, and we've been successful in a lot of our loan and all our financing. And I think that's very important to build that narrative and to show that, hey, this is what we're about and this is what we're doing.
Now, I appreciate the emphasis on the colored economies, but what else should we be looking at when we talk about economic diversification?
Well, you know, personally, I feel as if that we should be looking more in the technological space. I think moving forward, you know, during COVID-19, the pandemic has shown the need for innovation. You know, there's a few businesses that, you know, benefited exponentially because of COVID-19. They're showing their way to adapt to the climate we have, and I think that's very important. I'll give an example. You look at Craven, right? Craven has shown that its viability in a pandemic, and even it's still in the pandemic right now. And so it shows Bahamians, I think, that, hey, these are the type of businesses that we need to move forward. It doesn't always have to be an industrial or hands-on company. It can be something technological that just blows it out of the box.
Let me ask you this. This may be moving a little bit away, but I just came back from New York, and of course, we're Ubering everywhere, right? I know that there was a ride-share proposal that was started. I don't think it's been very successful, though.
No. I think,
how do we make something like that work in the Bahamas?
I think definitely something like that can work in the Bahamas. There'll have to be a lot of discussions, but I think with a lot of other shareholders. I definitely think the taxi cab union should be involved in that. The Ministry of Transport, and Aviation, Ministry of Transport. And so these are some of the things that has to be looked at. It won't be easy, but I think it's possible, and definitely, the world has shown us that it's possible to do it, and the Bahamas it can happen.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to take a very quick break right now. We're speaking with Senator Quintin Lightbourne, who is the chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank. We're talking about the bank and more after the break. Back, Quintin Lightbourne, the senator and chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank, is my guest today. Crypto businesses, right? We see a big, the legislation we had introduced a year or two ago has prompted businesses to come here. Let's get your views on cryptocurrency and its long-term viability for the Bahamas.
Yeah, well, cryptocurrency definitely is an evolving market. It's something that, digital assets is pretty much defined in a new date in terms of moving forward, in terms of the financial industry. I think the Bahamas government has been very proactive in terms of implementing the DARE Act. I think that was in 2018. And then also the Digital Assets Act that was just passed in Parliament. And I think it's very important. It shows that the Bahamas wants to be on the cutting edge. We're also looking at trying to tapping into our natural resources, and so that's very important. I think it definitely, once again, it goes back to the term of being innovative, and I think it's very important as countries move forward and as they evolve. That's very important, and I think cryptocurrency is something, as you can see, FTX has shown its dominance. It's showing it's pretty much its commitment to the Bahamas in terms of their conferences. I also saw that they've committed to having a conference here again next year. And so it just shows that we are evolving. And, it's something, that's some financial term, is that, once the one big fish is here, then you're going to have other small fishes that are going to also come into the Bahamas. I also parallel it to the offshore industry. For instance, in the 80s, it's shown that, once you see like Credit Suisse, UBS, other small institutions came along. And I think it's going to be a similar trickle-down effect in terms with cryptocurrency and so crypto businesses.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned some of those things. But first of all, big Bitcoin crash. How concerned should people be about that?
Well, I think there is definitely a pause on need for concern, but also the track record is showing it's rallying back up. I've always felt as if that crypto is very volatile. It has its ups and its downs. And I think persons have to really watch it and, monitor it as best as they can. So I wouldn't be someone to say, I'm totally okay. It's down and out. I'm not convinced to say that it's down and out as yet.
You also mentioned financial services and other things that the Bahamas at one point was on the cutting edge of. Cryptocurrency now, and then carbon credits that we're moving on. But we've had this unfortunate circumstance where we've been, the leaders and at the top of it at one point, maybe the initiators in some cases. But when competition comes in, we lose a great share of the margin. How much of that do you think is natural, and how much of that do you think we need to learn from to ensure that we can safeguard a lot of what we earn?
Well, I think some of it is definitely the aspect of capitalism in terms of industry, in terms of competition. I think it also puts us on the cutting edge. In the financial services sector, there had or possibly was some downturn in the back, so-called, I would say not too distant future of past. And I think definitely as we move forward, we're going to evolve and continue to harness our ability. One thing I've realized with the Bahamian public is that we're very resilient. And it just shows how now we've evolved to cryptocurrency and moving forward. I have no doubt that we will still and continue to be on the cutting edge in terms of financial services and new ideas. We also have to then turn to make a shift. There was a financial services move, but then also now we've positioned ourselves to be a great wealth management and trust hub. So that's very important. So I have little concern about our position right now. I think we're very keen on moving forward, and we're going to be successful.
Great. Now, you are a senator, and of course, the first big budget,
Yes.
an official budget, I guess I should say, has been passed. What was your experience like debating that? And speak to what's going on in the Senate now and
Yeah.
in the upper chamber.
Well, definitely, I would say it's definitely a privilege to be a relatively young person in the Senate. For my first time, I felt as if it was a very, insightful and vigorous debate. I think it was very important to get opposing views and sides and opinions on the matter. I think definitely the budget for 2022-2023 has shown the Bahamian public that the government is serious about moving forward and trying to ease the burden of all Bahamians and expand our economies in various sectors. I think it's been a very, also discussing stuff with the opposition, understanding that, hey, that we are working at this together, that this is our country. And I think that's very important as a millennial myself. I see the importance of trying to push our country forward, and not just in political banter or discourse, but how we can move and push each other forward. And that's been very important. For me, it's a humbling experience. It's a great experience that I don't take lightly. I take the role very serious because it's an opportunity that, many haven't had the experience or many haven't had the opportunity. But I welcome it and I move forward, and I will continue to do my ever best, to represent the country.
Good. Well, let's talk about young professionals in the country. It's good to see more opportunities for young professionals, and it appears to me that the Davis administration has given some unique opportunities to young people. Now, of course, being a young man yourself, a successful young man, you will have heard of all of these criticisms about young people. They're brilliant, they're this, they're that, but maybe work ethics, maybe this,
yeah.
And then on the other end is saying, oh, these old people need to go. I think we need all of them to work together, though, to continue to really take this country where it needs to go. How do you bridge the gap?
Definitely. I think it's a collective team effort. You said it very frankly and very accurately. In terms, you have to be able to bridge the gap. I don't think one goes without the other. Definitely, still being a young person, there definitely needs to be mentorship and guidance that you get from seasoned professionals in terms of professionally and personally. And I think that's very important. One thing I've realized that, that this world, it's a relay. You're passing the baton to the next person to carry on to finish the race. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to receive the baton and realizing that, yes, I have a mandate, I want to accomplish and do a lot of things, but I also have to realize that I'm standing on the shoulders of many great men and women that were before me. And also getting advice from them is very important. It would be naive of myself and any younger person to think that, hey, that without only education that we'd be able to excel and move forward. Getting that opinion and getting that insight from seasoned persons is key. It's almost make or break. And I think that coupled with the young person's energy, the young person's zeal and utopic view, and I think the sky is the limit once both work together as a team.
But to your credit and benefit, though, you do have some experience, quite a bit actually.
Yes, sir.
And you're quite progressive as well in your thinking. Let's go back to the development bank now. You had started a series of town meetings, I believe.
Yes.
What's next on that sort of line for you?
Perfect. So we've done quite a few town hall meetings in various family islands, because one of the first things that we realized is that a lot of persons did not know that the Bahamas Development Bank still existed. It seems ludicrous, but it was the fact and it was reality. When we went to some islands, like we went to Luther, we went to Auckland and Crooked Island, persons were like, the Bahamas Development Bank still even exists? And so we had to go out there and explain, because I think it's important moving the country forward that you cannot forget the family islands. And I think that has happened for many years, is that family islanders have seen that we've been forgotten and that you think everything is Nassau-centric. But that's one of the key things that we plan to do at the Bahamas Development Bank, to ensure that, hey, the family islands are included in our country. And we've done that, and our town hall meetings have been very successful. We've already seen a rise in applicants from family islanders. And I think that's very important, because we want to be inclusive and bring everybody forward to development of our country.
But the Davis administration is giving a greater push to family island investment, isn't it?
Yes, we have. In terms, we've set up a family island fund in terms of 10 or 20% of earnings made inside that particular island will go towards the development of that island. And I think that's very important, because persons don't want to feel that they've been neglected or forgotten. The infrastructural and economic demands or need in so many islands are necessary. And I think that's very important. And so this Davis administration has shown their commitment and will continue to show their commitment in family islands.
And back to the online process again, how long does it take to get a response from BDB?
Perfect. So the minute you apply, we give within 24 hours, we get a response to let you know that we received your application. And then one of our officers will reach out to you to let you know any information that you're missing and if we have any further questions. Once that has been submitted and everything has been official, we give between 30 to 60 days in terms of approval to let you know if your application has been approved or denied. And so that's the process right there. The process is very interactive, it's very fast-tracked, and it's something that I think has been very efficient. And that's, that's a testament of the effective and efficient and competent team that is at the Bahamas Development Bank that has been able to facilitate this type of innovative idea and moving forward and getting applications in and getting approvals out as soon as possible.
Now, I believe they say that the first 5 years of any business is the crucial part, because if you don't, that's when you're more likely to fail.
Yes.
So BDB support is continuous throughout those 5 years? Or?
Yes, BDB support is continuous. And we also constantly call to make sure that how else we could facilitate and help the businesses in terms of their premature infancy stages. And I think that's very important, that we are definitely walking this journey with you, and not just, okay, this is the funds, this is the loan, you do what you have to do. Because we want to ensure that, hey, that this business is successful, because at the end of the day, it's the country's investment. The country is putting money behind you, so it's definitely important. And the Bahamas Development Bank, we do have a follow-up team, a very efficient team as well that follows up to make sure to see how your business is doing and how best we can facilitate even expansion and growth of your business.
Great. Well, we're running out of time now, Senator, but I will allow you to sort of add something that I may not have asked you, or whatever else you think the Bahamian people should know.
Well, definitely. I just think just want to let the Bahamian public know that the Bahamas Development Bank is here to serve and be the vehicle for change and innovation and endurance in the Bahamas. And we are here for all Bahamians. And moving forward, we continue to be innovative, we will continue to be cutting edge and moving forward. And that's one of the things that we will continue to do. And thank you definitely for the opportunity to lead and push the country forward. Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Reid.
And Senator Quintin Lightbourne, thank you for being on the Reid Factor. We wish you every success, and of course the Bahamas, as we celebrate independence.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, well, we'll see you next time on the Reid Factor.